I'm actually 8 years younger than Ken, so I don't have a great memory of him in middle school. But what I do remember is pretty consistent with what you might see in the TV show Stranger Things. Like he literally had this circle of nerdy friends that he would play Dungeons and Dragons with. When he was in high school, he was kind of this overachiever guy who again had this nerdy circle of friends. And one sort of cool thing that they did is they made a magazine for their school. It was called Warped Magazine, and they would distribute it to all the students of the school. Like silly stories and fake advertisements. Like I remember one called the Super Duper Pooper Scooper, and it had like little comics and stuff. But yeah, my brother used to be cool before he got old.
I remember that we were like introduced to each other as like the smart kids, sort of. I had an older brother who had introduced me to Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know where Ken got it. I guess he was just that much more of a nerd than me. The only kid I knew who carried a handkerchief. And, you know, like for him, he was like, well, you know, you gotta blow your nose so you can just, you know, watch this thing and whatever. And everybody, like, it's a Kleenex world these days, right? But he's the kid who has a handkerchief.
Up in Huntsville, Alabama, which has this like a U.S. Army post kind of as part of the town. It's called Redstone Arsenal. A circle of friends had the idea of rolling Jimmy's house, putting toilet paper in his trees, I guess is what that is. But it turns out that when you do this on a U.S. Army post, the implications are more severe than if you just do it like in the city. So I think late at night my dad gets this phone call from like the U.S. Army military police, and they're like, Mr. Rideout, we have something serious to tell you. Your son is being held here. And yeah, so my dad had to go pick up my brother from somewhere for this serious thing that he had done, like ruining someone's front lawn. But I think my dad was actually a little proud of Ken, and they were laughing about it. So yeah, he wasn't really in trouble with my family, but I guess he was in trouble with the military.
I went to the house, and we were hanging out, and my wife, who was in school at the time, was writing this paper, and we were drinking a lot. We drank a couple of bottles, and my wife was like, you guys are making too much noise. And so we went out to the backyard and opened a couple more bottles of this wine, and we were talking like at length about what we thought was heavy stuff, you know, just hanging out in the backyard, sprawled out on the back porch or whatever. And then we were woken up in the morning by my wife, who had stayed up most of the night writing this paper, and then was like, you know, get up, come inside. And we came inside, and there was like literally a dozen bottles on the counter that she had also picked up. So that was excessive. That was excessive.
Ken, not much more needs to be said, right? I mean, we could add Rideout, but that would just be redundant, even repetitive. No, the problem is that while everyone knows of Ken, very few know anything about Ken. Sure, he's a well-renowned instructor of mentally wayward youths. He's a winemaker, a keeper of the sacred stash. But really, who, what is Ken? Many have tried to find out. Many more have failed. We have an exclusive interview. Tonight, We will talk to a member of the infamous Rideout 4. Those dastardly handsome and brilliant teenagers who changed the course of history in Huntsville, Alabama. Thank you for agreeing to step forward.
I'm risking my lives, the lives of my children, and that of the Amazon Prime delivery guy. But the truth must be heard.
Who were the Rideout 4?
4 schoolmates, bonded since middle school, split by the vagaries of local districts and high school, yet, nevertheless, preserving those bonds to continue their important work.
You knew Ken in middle school.
Who didn't? I first saw him banging his head against the lockers outside of class. It was never clear if it was the pain of his braces or the crush he had on the popular girl whose locker was next to his.
Ken wasn't popular?
With a nose like his, you would think no. And you'd be right.
Okay, moving on.
Of course, it was not until high school that Ken's true power, the light and majesty, continued to fail to shine.
I'm sorry.
During those years, we created a game for Eric, bedtime stories for Ken, a book for Jack, and songs for Bill for the respective 16th birthdays of our motley crew. Of course, the crown achievement was our underground publication of 2 years of issues of Warped magazine.
Few have seen it.
And few will. The world is still not ready. But for an enlightened few, Ken helped usher in a new era of intellectual evolution for the human race. Until it was too much. Our fleshly neuronal aggregations, that blood and hormone-soaked organ we arrogantly called brain, that lump of protoplasm bathed in the big broth that constructs whatever pathetic reality we are currently engaged in, well, it wasn't up to the challenge. Warped was aptly named, as it bent and wrecked the minds of many who tried to wrestle with its deep profundities. And so, one by one, we succumbed. First, the average readers, moved by minds who should never have glanced at the page. Next, the creators, one by one, we fell into listless coma-like states from the sheer amazeballs of our artistic monolith.
Dear God.
Ken, of course, held out the longest. Only he could fight indefinitely the darkness of infinite enlightenment. But he knew we could not. So, he spirited away the works of his hands, buried them in the depths of time and space. He emerged, lessened, having ripped his heart and mind out to save us all. A shadow of his former self. Now he plods along with a facade of a superintelligence physics teacher, never letting on to the greater truth. Some of you can sense it. Some of you have undoubtedly wondered, can this seemingly goofy and bizarre man be only what he seems? Or is there something more?
And how would you answer them?
I would point to you that the one entity on Earth that has ever truly understood Ken has the answers. The one soul that is perhaps his equal. The one creature able to withstand the keen and piercing genius that nearly destroyed us all.
And who is this?
The rare but surprising East African bisexual monk.
The what?
The what's not important. What's important is his answer to the question of just who Ken might be.
And what is that answer?
47.
47.
47.
I don't understand.
The feud